So the Lord of Form, this is saying how we look to things of all kinds, for security and comfort. How we look to things for strength, and we put our trust in things. So we put a lot of energy into reaching out and grasping at things. And the thing is that actually when we think of it, a lot of these things we already know that there's a hangover and that it doesn't bring any kind of happiness. In fact, it weakens us. We already know that. Nevertheless, one can't underestimate the power of these feelings, and therefore one can't underestimate the kind of bravery it takes to begin to turn these habits and patterns that we call ego, to turn them around. We actually, even though we are quite an intelligent species, on the charts of the evolution of consciousness, we're pretty high up there. And some of us are even called geniuses, and brilliant people. But I think really we're pretty stupid. When it really comes down to it, we all have these habits that we look to things outside of ourselves. We look for strength in what weakens us. And in a lot of cases, these things that we reach for are very tied up with our identity of who we are, how we hold ourselves together. So maybe what we reach for is nature, and we have this image of ourselves as one who loves solitude and nature and goes off into the wilderness in their kayak. Well, personally, I'm one of those people. I like to do that kind of thing. So it's not putting down any of these things, but more to say that we use them to comfort ourselves. We use them to try to avoid just being present in the moment. They somehow are a concept or an image or an ideal that's between us and the direct experience of reality. We have an image of ourselves as a creative person or a scholar, but some sense of seeking, holding on, grasping at things. And even though we may think we ourselves, personally, we are not materialistic, nevertheless, I think most of us know what it's like, that good feeling of buying something new. So, again, I'm not meaning here to put down anything in particular, but it's a way that we concretize, the way that we make things solid, the way that we hold on to things. In other words, it's a way of going astray from the true nature of reality, which is not one certain way. It's said in the teachings that each moment is completely fresh. It's never happened before, and it will never happen again. It's unique. And that all that is being overlooked when we cling to things and when we cling to beliefs. The real truth of the matter is we can use these things as stepping stones, use them as ways of communicating, use them as a way of enriching our life and enjoying things. But if we cling to it and use it as a weapon, if we find that we're threatened, should anybody disagree, then we know that somehow we're going astray, that we're blinding ourselves and weakening ourselves. Generally speaking, when we look closely at anything, our judgments go along with it. And this is particularly true of when we look closely at ourselves.